It was May 25, 2020, a date seared into our minds. George Floyd, a black man, killed by a Minneapolis police officer. Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. His pleas for breath were ignored. A life was stolen.
This shocked a nation that was already reeling from a global pandemic.
Justice was demanded. The corner of 38th Street and Chicago Avenue. This ordinary intersection became extraordinary. It transformed into a global flashpoint. Protests ignited across cities, across nations. Voices cried out against police brutality, against systemic racism. It was a raw wound. This was not just one man's death. It was a reflection of a deep, ongoing struggle. People came to that corner. They came to mourn.
George Floyd's murder, demonstrators gathered at Chicago's Federal Plaza today as part of a national day of protests led by the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Those in attendance condemned President Trump's executive orders. They say Trump's plan to eliminate federal consent decrees will further erode relationships between police and the community.
The community began to call it sacred, a place of profound pain, and a place of emerging, resilient power. The streets around the intersection closed, not by official decree at first, but by the weight of the moment. This closure allowed for something essential. It created space for collective grieving, for remembrance, for community. Systemic violence was no longer abstract. It was made visible, right there, for all to see. 5 years have now passed.
Today of George Floyd's murder, demonstrators gathered at Chicago's Federal Plaza today as part of a national day of protests led by the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Those in attendance condemned President Trump's executive orders. They say Trump's plan to eliminate federal consent decrees will further erode relationships between police and the community.
May 25, 2025 marks that solemn anniversary. George Floyd's family continues their fight. His nephew, Roger Floyd.
The atrocities of murder.
Floyd's death launched a summer of protests across the country, drawing outrage from all corners, even as the 2020 pandemic raged on. The Justice Department increasing oversight.
His cousin, Thomas McLaurin. They carry the weight of his memory, hold the vision for this ground. They believe this entire space is sacred. Their resolve has not wavered. Their vision is one of reverence and life. They dream of a place of peace. To honor George Floyd, to honor the movement, the global call for racial justice he inspired. They see community shops, a library for learning, a space that fosters understanding and inspires continued action for change. The family also wants to see healing. They want existing businesses to thrive again, especially the black-owned businesses. This area has a vibrant, important history. The memorial should not overshadow that. It should lift the community. It is about remembering, yes, but also about rebuilding, about hope. For them, every inch of this ground matters. It is where George Floyd took his last breath. It is where a global movement found its voice. This space demands permanent, solemn honor. It requires profound, unwavering respect. This is their deeply held conviction, a truth they champion tirelessly. This ground is and must remain sacred. Today, George Floyd Square stands as a testament. Concrete barriers still mark the intersection. A powerful mural of George Floyd watches. Flowers, mementos, and stuffed animals accumulate. A vacant gas station bears a sign, "Where there's people, there's power." A sculpture of a raised fist, installed in 2021. It is a space of active, living memory. But its permanent future is fiercely debated. The Floyd family and a majority on the city council. They support creating a pedestrian plaza, a place primarily for people, not vehicles, restricting most traffic save for local needs. They argue this truly honors the site's significance, a space for reflection and continued dialogue, a permanent tribute to the fight for justice. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has a different view. Many local business owners share his concerns. They advocate for a flexible, open street plan, one that allows more vehicular traffic, and the return of major bus routes. They believe this is vital to revive businesses, to prevent the area from becoming a ghost town. In February 2025, the council overrode the mayor's veto on a study for the plaza. Local businesses have felt the changes deeply. Dwight Alexander, co-owner of Smoke in the Pit, he reports his restaurant's business is down by half. He supports bringing back bus routes and traffic. This historically black commercial district, once home to many thriving black-owned businesses, the debate touches on memory, commerce, and community survival. Finding a path forward is proving difficult. The city of Minneapolis has invested significant effort, 17,000 hours of listening sessions, $2 million in staff time, to gather input from residents and stakeholders. Yet a clear consensus remains elusive. The mayor states most want a flexible open street. Councilmember Linnea Palmisano notes a survey. It showed over 70% did not want a restrictive plaza. This intersection is more than just asphalt and buildings. Councilmember Jason Chavez, whose ward includes part of the square. He emphasizes its undeniable historical importance. Professor Yohuru Williams, a historian, he states this moment deserves a memorial, one that honors the powerful movement it birthed. It serves as a constant, stark reminder of ongoing police brutality and the need for vigilance. The struggle over George Floyd Square's future, it reflects a much larger, national conversation. How do we remember pivotal, painful moments? How does a community, a nation heal? How do we build a more just future, while truly honoring the sacrifices of the past? This debate tests our collective commitment to lasting, meaningful structural change. This ground, George Floyd Square, is a symbol. His family's fight is for more than just a place. Supporters stand with them, unwavering. It is a fight for a lasting testament, a testament to the enduring movement for racial justice, a testament to the urgent need for police accountability. It is a sacred trust to be carried forward, for all future generations to witness and remember.